Check, check, check. Is this thing on? Hello. I think we are live, my friends, brothers, sisters, everyone in between. Welcome. It is that time of the week. It is Sunday night. It is 2112. 2112 is 9:12 p.m., whatever time zone I'm in. And yes, that is a very nerdy reference to the greatest band of all time, Rush. A few words about that in just a moment. But anyway, for those of you who've been here before, welcome back. Thanks for being here. For those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Glad you're here. This is something we soul anarchists do every Sunday night. We circle the wagons. We have a little Sunday night burn, as it were. Ideally, we would actually circle not wagons, probably motorcycles or RVs or something like that around a campfire, though. But seeing as I'm here and you're there, we're going to improvise a bit. I encourage you to light something on fire as you join me every Sunday night for the Sunday night burn. I always do. I'm going to light a candle on fire. Sometimes we'll light some incense. Maybe you could light something else on fire, some other combustible material that makes you feel nice. That'd be good. So, our fire. And this is always a BYOB event. I hope you have something delicious in your hand to drink tonight. I've been cooking pasta, been doing my signature red wine, braised beef, Pomodoro style sauce. And so I've got a bottle of Merlot open. So gonna enjoy a little of that with you tonight. So cheers. My place, by the way, smells amazing. There's this moment in preparing the dish that I love it so much. It's this moment where I first of all I cube up some beef and put it, and then I just like sear it in a pan, and then once it's got a nice sear on it, and there's some like flavor stuff happening, some like crusty stuff happening in the bottom of the pan, I'll pull the beef out. I'll drop in some red wine and deglaze the pan. And then I also put in some minced garlic. And in that moment, there's this aroma that comes up it's the best. It is the best smell in the whole world. It really is. I mean, there are a number of scents that I really admire and love and adore in this life. This is probably the number one thing that I just love. Oh my God, it just smells so good. Every time it happens, it never gets old. Like that, the way it just comes off the pan. I'm just like, God damn, this is why we incarnate. It's so good. The other steps also smell good, but that is the best one. Anyway, so thanks for humoring that. I mentioned the 2112 thing. This is a bit of a side note, but the 2112 thing. So 2112 is an album that was put out by Rush in 1976. Happens to be the year I was born. And it is about a dystopian society in the future in the year 2112 when an oppressive regime takes complete control of all of the art and media and entertainment and information that is given to the citizens. And it is controlled by this regime called the priests of the temples of Syrinx. And in the story, they're kind of framed up as this kind of quasi-religious sect. And I think there's some symbolism to that. Anyway, it hit me the other day that we are about to live the 2112 story way before 2112. And it freaked me the fuck out. I'm going to get into this. I'm going to dedicate a whole episode to this another week soon. I'll completely unpack the lyrics. I'm going to talk about AI. I'm going to talk about what's going on politically, socially, and how we are headed straight into it. And so, probably come to that episode a little warmed up. You might want to be like 2 glasses in before we start on that episode. So, anyway, Woo! But tonight we're going to talk about something a little bit lighter. We're going to talk about Lucifer, the son of the morning star. It's just some light conversation. Um, God. For the one or two of you that are on here that hang out with me, I love you. I know I'm a dark son of a bitch sometimes. Mm. Anyway, I've been noticing a narrative floating around in the news a lot lately about I want to be very deliberate about which rabbit holes we go down. I'll just say for now that there are various bad things happening in our society that get blamed on Satanism. It's a satanic group, it's a satanic this, it's a satanic that, it's a that kind of thing. And I get it. I get that people are freaked out. And the things that I'm talking about are a million goddamn percent worth freaking out over. And at the same time, I want us to be very clear thinking about something. Okay, I'm talking about pedophilia. That's what I'm talking about. There's creeping pedophilia all through our society right now, and it is fucking horrific. It just I I can't even wrap my brain around it. It's mystifying to me about how this is happening and how people are putting up with it. In particular, one thing that hit the news this week that you should know about, it has come out that Instagram, there are a number of accounts on Instagram that have been facilitating the trade of pedophilic material. And the Instagram algorithm has been helping to perpetuate it. Now, here's the thing. One of the things I have learned about Instagram during the course of lockdown, during the course of the pandemic, if I say the wrong things, if I express the wrong opinions about a particular shot, if I have like opinions about a particular medication, that the Instagram doesn't like, if Instagram and I don't see eye to eye about certain medical procedures, they will shut me the fuck down. And they have facilitated the transaction and trade of pedophilic material. And you know who hasn't talked about it? None of the fucking mainstream media. None of them have been talking about it. Have you heard about this yet? Has CNN been talking about it? Has MSNBC been talking about it? Have the idiots on The View been talking about it? No. But it is real and it is out there. And if you just do a tiny bit of easy Googling, you will find out that this is real. It is documented. It is proven. There are very smart people who have nailed this down, and no one's talking about it. I get it infuriates me because I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, I'm a normal, decent human being. And anyway, I can't wrap my brain around how this is actually happening, how we're sliding into this. There's a bit of a diversion, but I'm going to bring this full circle. So there's been a lot of talk about these like satanic pedophilic rituals that have been going on. This is how dark it gets. I hope you have a little wine in your hand to have this conversation. These crimes against children, I think, should be punishable by awful and treacherous means, death sometimes. And I'm an anti-death penalty kind of guy. I am. I'm anti-capital punishment, and these are some opportunities. These are some times when I think we ought to look at it. Anyway, here's the thing about Satan. I think that good old Lucifer has been dragged into this conversation to distract us. and to side rail the conversation about what's really going on. The people here in the Christian tradition, Satan's problem was this: pride and a thirst for glory that usurped God. That's it. In the Christian tradition, the story goes like this: there's this pre-existent state where all the souls of humanity existed in the presence of the divine, of God, the creator, and there was a plan being worked out as to like what we were going to do when we get down here, what it would all be about, who was going to help us, blah blah, all those sorts of things. And one of God's most choice children, Lucifer, comes forward and says, "Hey, I have an idea. I will go down with them and I will make sure that none of them mess up. I will make sure that all of them are obedient. I will force their hand on all things. I will ensure that they all are safe, and I will bring them all back intact. Now, they won't have any choice in the matter. I will strip them all of their agency. They will have no agency. They will just simply follow orders the whole time, and I'll bring them all back. And I want all the glory. I want the glory that normally would have been God's glory. I want all the credit. I want to be the star of the show." And this is the thing that upset God. And in comparison, this is where Jesus comes in, says, "Hey, I'll go down. I'll teach them some things, and I'll offer myself up as a sacrifice, and blah blah. Blah. Like there's all these other things. Um, but they'll always have a choice in the matter, and they're free to get hurt or not get hurt. They're free to do what they got to do, but I'll do what I can to help them, and the glory will all be to God in the process of this whole thing." So I'm not asking you to believe any of this stuff. I'm speaking about, like, we're going to talk about this just like we talk about Yoda in Star Wars, okay, or I'm talking about Harry Potter in very serious terms. That said, so in the Christian tradition, Satan's sin was not pedophilia; it was pride, and it was the thirst for glory and his willingness to usurp the agency of humanity. That was Satan's problem. All of the other things get lumped onto Satan in the meantime. He didn't come up with any of those ideas. I mean, Cain and Abel, I mean, he did inspire that murder to happen. Fine. Yeah. But beyond that, no. So when you hear about all these accusations of satanic pedophilic rings, I want you to take a step back and realize, take the Satan out of it. These are human crimes. These are awful people. These are deranged, awful people that deserve to be extinguished out from our society. These are people that these I feel like the whole satanic thing gets brought in as sort of like clickbait in a way to like distract us from what's really going on. And that was never his idea. He was just thirsty for glory, and he was willing to force you to do it. Does that remind you of anybody? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, my friends, let's get out of here. Love you all. Keep up the fine work. I am going to finish cooking that batch of pasta right now. I'm kind of halfway in between. It's time to add the basil and tomatoes. Cheers. Love you all.